Visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Oh, hello, everyone. Yes, you are hearing my voice. You are listening to the Scoreboard. It is time for the Sports Hour here on WSIC. Man, oh man, it is a Tuesday. We are well underway in the Olympics. If you didn't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know, but if you didn't know, the Olympics, they're going on right now, the 2024 Summer Olympics over in Paris. We're going to talk a lot of Olympics today. There's some news stories. Team USA doing pretty well in a lot of sports. The soccer team may be impressing people. Was our coach the problem? Also, Major League Baseball. We only had one game so far today. And we are currently 53 minutes away from the trade deadline. Yes, this is the last day of trades in Major League Baseball. After today, you cannot trade anymore. 844-STUDIO-4, that's 844-788-3464 is the phone number. If there's anything on your mind that you might want to chat with me about, I am here for the next, we'll call it 53 minutes as well. Because right when that trade deadline happens, that's when I hop off the airwaves today. We have a lot of trades in Major League Baseball going on. I told you guys that usually, the Major League Baseball trade deadline does not live up to expectations. And that's just, sometimes it's the nature of the beast. But this year, oh man, I'll tell you, we have some pretty interesting, pretty meaty trades to talk about. And we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about the Olympics. Team USA currently leading the medal count, in case you didn't know. Yes, they are leading the medal count. Not in gold medals, though. Now, in gold medals, they're still behind, which I find sad, honestly. I never know what people are more interested in. I don't know if you'd rather see your country have more total medals or have the most gold medals. Now, I don't know if you're going to get the most gold medals and silver medals and bronze medals, but, there's always that option. We have a caller into our studio here this afternoon. Let's go ahead and bring them onto the program. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Scoreboard.
Good afternoon, Joe Berg.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing great, sir. I hope you are as well.
Oh, I am doing just fine. What do you got for me today, man? It's been a while.
Hey, yeah, just got to talk a little, hype up the Olympics there. No spoiler alerts in case anybody hasn't watched or heard the updates. I don't want to spoil it for the late time.
I don't think you have to worry about that, though, because if you're listening to the sports show, I'm going to talk about what happened.
There you go. I just got to brag on those little ladies there in the gymnastics. What a performance. I haven't really seen it. I'm sure I'll watch it later tonight, but just heard some of the updates, and, they're just quite the little, energetic packages, just pretty phenomenal, and hoping the men's basketball team can keep things going like they had that big blowout the other night. I know we talked about it last week. Hopefully the old guys could show up and still play some ball, and I think maybe they were just playing possum during the exhibition games. They seem to kind of turn it up a notch, so maybe they can keep that intensity going.
Yeah, and, I do want to say also as well, shout out to the women's gymnastics. They got the gold medal. That was pretty cool to see. Obviously, with the issues they had last year in last Olympics, I should say, in gymnastics, it's good to see them come home with a gold medal.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always rooting for all the USA teams. So And I wanted to respond too. I heard you saying about gold versus total medals. To me, it's like, I think we'll be tops in probably both categories as we usually are. But to me, it's like the total is more important than just the gold, because then it shows the total body of work. Somebody not be the best at that moment in time, but I mean, they're all great athletes. Some are going to have bad days versus somebody that's going to be spot on. And so to me, it's, if you get 1, 2, or 3, I mean, you're still, one of the greatest athletes of all time just to achieve that status. So to me, it's total medals is more important than gold medals.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're coming from. Well, right now we are dominating in total medals. We got 26. Next closest country is France, sitting with 18. So, hey, off to a good start in the first week of the Olympics. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I think, like I say, I think we'll be there in the end. We always seem to be right up there at the top with, I know it's usually like China's kind of up there, top 3, and looks like France is having a great year for them so far. So we still got a lot of sports to go. I think we're kind of dominant more in the second half of the events coming up this year as far as, total medals and gold medals and stuff. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but it's still entertaining and fun to watch, just all the athletic competitions and just, how great some of these people are. Just, it's astounding, just the world records and Olympic records and all that get broken. And you think, oh, this guy was like Michael Phelps was great. And, but now there's people that's breaking his records. And it's just like, he's the all-time. I think he's got like 23 gold medals or something like that during his career, far and above. I think next closest maybe like 15 or 18 or something. But, it's just, everybody keeps pushing themselves a little bit more just to break the previous guy's record. So it's just amazing to watch.
It really is. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad that we are getting out to this fast start. It's good to see, but let's get some more gold medals here. Only at 4 so far. So, plenty of time for that to happen. But yeah, I'll tell you what, the world records and Olympic records being broken is something that when I see that happen, I'm like, okay, we broke another record. But then you think about every other Olympic, it's world records broken. And it just gets faster and faster. Eventually, we're going to go as fast as we can in like swimming and stuff like that. It's just interesting to see how far we can take that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's just, doesn't sound like much, like a tenth of a second here or there. But, I mean, it just, really adds up.
It does.
Over the course of, the whole race, especially those longer, when they're doing the long races in the swimming, 400 meters. I mean, that's a good distance, and to be able to continue that pace and make that happen for that long a distance, that's just incredible.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in today.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, have a good week, Joe. Talk to you later, buddy.
You as well. Thanks as always, Mr. Tar Heel Man, for calling in. Big fan of the scoreboard over there. I'll tell you what, Team USA men's basketball team. Yes, they got a blowout win in game number 1, but I am of the thought process, let's pump the brakes a little bit. We did beat Serbia by a lot in our friendly against them back in the middle of July. We blew them out again in the Olympics. Now we go play South Sudan, a team that we should have blown out but didn't. We'll see how things go in the next game. Heading to our first commercial break. You're listening to The Scoreboard, and we'll be back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We're keeping an eye out for a few isolated showers or thunderstorms as we go through the rest of our Tuesday evening. Overnight, a partly cloudy sky. We'll dip into the low 70s. Outlying spots and farms may be able to make it down to the 70-degree mark, but get ready. Another big heat wave on the way as we go throughout the rest of the week. Into the mid-90s again tomorrow with an isolated shower or thunderstorm for our Wednesday afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Listen, save, enjoy. The WSIC app, available now in your app store.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Birkdale Village in Huntersville welcomes back Dave Scott Crow and his Amusination Academy performance on Thursday, August 1st. Dave's concert and Pick Me Up open mic are events for the kids and the entire family. The show begins at 4:30 p.m. on the green. Parents, grandparents, and kids of all ages are welcome on Thursday afternoon at Birkdale Village for Dave Scott Crow's Amusination Academy. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free concert series on Thursday, August 1st. Langtree Lake Norman is open for eats and drinks all afternoon, with Bad Romeo taking the stage at 7 p.m. From AC/DC to Whitesnake, Bad Romeo will bring back your 80s rock memories. Grab your lawn chairs, arrive early to get your favorite spot, and enjoy Langtree before, during, and after the show. We'll see you in Mooresville Thursday night for the Bad Romeo concert at Langtree Lake Norman. Friday night, Birkdale Village hosts Live Under the Oaks in Huntersville. String Theory presents a free concert from 6 to 8. Birkdale restaurants are open for dinner, while Red Rocks will serve beverages on site at the concert. Come on out Friday night for the String Theory concert at Birkdale Village. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday, August 17th. Sparks will fly as the metal-bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for free early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now. Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
105.9, 100.7, WSIC. The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9, 100.7, WSIC.
Welcome back. Scoreboard on WSIC. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. Hey, we're going to be here for you. For what? The next almost 40 minutes or so? Yeah. And just so you know, I know a lot of you are in the car on your way home right now. Be safe out there. Always got to let you know. Be safe out there on the roads. Let's talk a little bit of basketball on the way back. On the other side of the commercial break, I should say. Team USA beating Serbia by a lot the other day. Now, tomorrow they play South Sudan. Now, that's not a test. It's just a, hey, you played them earlier in a friendly and you barely won. You avoided probably the biggest embarrassment that you could have had. Losing that game would have been very embarrassing, but it's not really the biggest test that they have yet. But it is one where you look at it and you say, okay, it's time to redeem yourself. Like, show us that you can go out there and blow everyone out, because they very well can. This is one of the best teams Team USA has ever put together. Probably the best talent-wise. I know everybody loves to talk about the dream team. Oh, the dream team, they're the best. Yeah, not everybody on the dream team was a shooter. Everybody on this team, you have to guard them close. I watched an analytics video comparing this year's team to the dream team, and it's not even close. Like, if you put them in their prime against each other, I have a feeling this year's team would blow them out. You also have to remember the dream team only faced 3 other NBA players in the entire Olympic run. Team USA is playing a lot more NBA players this time around. And you have the dream team to thank for that. Everybody always points out, oh, it's the dream team. You know, when they went to the Olympics, they showed the world what basketball was all about. And now it's going to catch up to the U.S. eventually. Now we're almost and I say almost, but what are we, 32 years in now from when that dream team went to the Olympics? Is my math right on that? I think so. And yet, now we're finally starting to see the talent level of these other countries get better. I mean, just look at France, for example. France has Victor Wembanyama, the number 1 draft pick from last year. And in the NBA draft this year, they had 3 of the first 6 picks. 3 of the first 6 picks were French players. So just something to keep in mind, okay? This team, Team USA, is really good, but they are playing pretty good opponents going through the Olympics. It's not a cakewalk like it used to be for Team USA, even though they've lost before, which is embarrassing in itself. It'd be like if Team USA lost in breaking. For the first time ever, we have breakdancing in the Olympics. We invented breakdancing. Better not lose. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. The United States men's national team reaches the Olympic quarterfinals for the first time since 2000 with their win over Guinea earlier today. That is the soccer team. And I told you the men's side of things is not FIFA sanctioned, which means that there's some restrictions as to who can come and play. It is a under 23 tournament, so it is young players on this Team USA roster for the soccer team. But they went out today and they scored 3 goals against Guinea, and that puts them to the quarterfinals, which is the knockout stage, for the first time since 2000. And it's got me thinking. It just has, I am not the most well-versed when it comes to the soccer world, international soccer, and what does this mean, and what does this mean, and all the things that happen. But just by looking at it from a faraway perspective, was Greg Berhalter really that big of a problem to where the full roster, the full squad, did terrible in the Copas, but now our younger players, which our younger players are supposed to be good right now, but it's the main core of Team USA that is supposed to be the best we've ever had. They're all over 23 years old now. They are not on this Olympic roster. But now we see the young players putting us into the quarterfinals for the first time since 2000. That's over 24 years ago. Oh my goodness. So was our coach really that big of a problem? I mean, it is promising. I will say it is promising to see Team USA go into the knockout stages in soccer. I for one, am excited because it shows us that there is talent on this team. I know a lot of people after Copa Americas were saying, oh boy, Team USA, this is supposed to be the best team we've ever had. Most talent ever. And look at how terrible they did in Copas. Well, they got a little bit of a redemption in them right now. And I understand that it is not the full squad. I get that. I understand that it's the younger players, but they are still playing under the U.S. men's national team banner. Team USA, the soccer team, they're still playing under that banner. So just going out and having good runs like this, showing the world, hey, maybe we had a bad tournament, but we still have a good soccer program. Because you got to remember, the World Cup is 2 years from now. We are only a couple of years away from the full U.S. men's team having to go out and show everybody what they got on home soil, nonetheless. So I am for one excited for the soccer team. It's good to see. A 3-0 win is nice. Obviously, France, that it was an opening game to France where they lost. But then they had 2 straight victories where they were the ones who were the better team. And it is promising to see. Another thing that's promising, as we talked about in the first segment with our caller, is the women's team. Not the soccer team, the women's gymnastics team. Simone Biles, the anchor of that team. They won the gold medal in team gymnastics. So congratulations to the girls over there. I love seeing, hey, it was the first time since 2016. It's like, wow, it's been 8 years since they won the gold. Well, there's only one Olympics in between 2016 and this Olympics. That was the 2020 played in 2021 Olympics. So it's not like the most ridiculous thing ever. Now, 2000, that's a little different. That's completely new rosters, completely new players, coaches, system, completely new game. But yeah, it wasn't, it hasn't been 24 years. It's been, 5 tournaments, really? 6 tournaments, really? So you got to take those droughts in the Olympics with a grain of salt, in my opinion. Because, yeah, it was 4 years ago that we had the last Olympics. Really 3 because of COVID. But I'm not saying that it's been a huge drought for the Team USA women's to not win the gold. But it is great to see them get back on top because, man, it feels like it was just yesterday we were talking about Simone Biles having problems knowing where she was midair, which sounds terrifying if you're a gymnast. I'm not a gymnast, and it still sounds terrifying. Imagine flying through the air and not knowing exactly where your body's positioned. Whew, man. Right now, with the Olympics, Team USA has 26 medals. That's 4 gold, 11 silver, and 11 bronze. They have the most bronze medals by a mile. The next closest country in bronze, Japan, France, and Italy all tied at 4. We have 11. As far as the silver medal goes, we still lead in the silver medal with 11, but France is right on our tail with 9. And in the gold medal, we have 4. We're not leading that one yet. Japan has taken the lead as they have 7 gold medals. China with 6. Australia also with 6. France with 5. South Korea with 5. We're tied with Great Britain at 4. Another U.S. team that did something pretty cool today, that is the women's rugby 7 team. They lost their semifinal game, but they go into the bronze medal match and they take down Australia after losing to New Zealand, which is pretty awesome to see. It's the first time the women's have gotten a medal in rugby from what I saw, so that is awesome. Congratulations to all of the women there. I'll tell you what, man. Rugby and water polo, like those 2 sports, they have my full respect. Because there are no pads in rugby. Nothing at all. And water polo, I watched the women's yesterday. Now I'm watching the men's today. Man, that is an aggressive, how do you not drown? Honestly, it looked like somebody was going to get drowned. Physically grab the other guy and push him under. Drown him. But man, Team USA got the win earlier today in water polo. Rugby and water polo, man, who would have thought? We still got plenty of Olympic games to go. Late tonight, you're going to actually have some surfing finals. Not in France. But, can't really do surfing in Paris. Understandable. So some things still going on late tonight. Tomorrow, the competition ends a little early, but we have some other things to keep in mind that are starting tomorrow. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear this because this is exciting. You're listening to The Scoreboard. Don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We're keeping an eye out for a few isolated showers or thunderstorms as we go through the rest of our Tuesday evening. Overnight, a partly cloudy sky. We'll dip into the low 70s. Outlying spots and farms may be able to make it down to the 70-degree mark, but get ready. Another big heat wave on the way as we go throughout the rest of the week. Into the mid-90s again tomorrow with an isolated shower or thunderstorm for our Wednesday afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to TillyHD.com.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
At Bunch Johnson Funeral Home, our service to families is second to none. We're here for you when you need it most. Let us help you focus on healing. We'll handle the rest. Bunch Johnson Funeral Home.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. G-O-L-D, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. That's 800-296.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. In team sports, it isn't uncommon to hear about teammates getting into fights. But when tensions arise between teammates, the conflict needs to get settled immediately. By not letting the frustrations fester, the team can stay focused on attaining greater success as a unit. The same is true in our own lives. Even followers of Jesus experience tension with each other. But the Bible says if someone says, I love God, but hates a fellow believer, that person is a liar. For if we don't love people we can see, how can we love God whom we cannot see? And he has given us this command. Those who love God must also love their fellow believers. Although conflict is inevitable as imperfect people, if we understand what loving God really means, we will love his people too. So today, let's try to bring resolution to any outstanding conflicts and fight for unity with fellow believers. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Less than a month after the global IT outage affecting computers that used Microsoft Windows, Microsoft had another outage to fix. Today's, according to a status page from Microsoft, blamed an unexpected surge in use of its Azure cloud service. The outage also disabled mobile ordering at Starbucks for hours. And it happened just hours before Microsoft disappointed investors by showing sales in its cloud unit last quarter came in just short of targets, and as Starbucks reported its comparable sales last quarter fell a little more than predicted. Alexa, move over. OpenAI is rolling out its voice assistant for ChatGPT to a limited number of users. It had delayed the release to work through some possible safety issues. On Wall Street, investors pulled back ahead of the big tech earnings. The Dow rose 0.5%, 203 points. The Nasdaq and S&P fell 0.5 to 1.25%. The S&P down 27, the Nasdaq down 223. Joan Doniger, Bloomberg Radio.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Scoreboard. We are past the halfway point today. The MLB trade deadline is about 25 minutes away. Yes, 25 minutes away. And it has been a pretty good trade deadline this year, in my opinion. We have some big names being shipped off to big teams. Let's go through a few of these, because I'm not going to tell you every single trade that's happened, because if I did that, we'd be here for hours, okay? We really would. Some big ones. Andrew Chafin went to the Texas Rangers from Detroit. Some recent ones from today that happened. You got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa heading to Pittsburgh, IKF, as he is known. Not really the biggest move in the world. Paul Blackburn goes to the New York Mets. The Mets have been pretty active, actually, this year, as they also have made a few trades. Paul DeJong goes to Kansas City. Alex Cobb from San Francisco to Cleveland, the Guardians. Josh Bell. Man, Josh Bell made a name for himself, and then he kind of disappeared for a little bit. Well, he is on the move from Miami, heading to Arizona. We don't really know what the trade is on that one yet because, well, we haven't seen anything come through. It's a player to be named later, it seems. You have some three-way trades that have happened over the past few days and some big ones. The whole baseball landscape, as I choke on air, excuse me. The whole baseball landscape today, yesterday, and even heading into the next 30 minutes is getting shaken up. So just something to keep an eye on as you move through the remainder of the day. I do believe that we're going to see some trades trickle in as the deadline passes every now and then. And you see it a lot in hockey as well. What'll happen is there's such a big log of trades that get submitted right at the final minute that you don't really have time to put all the information out there before 6 o'clock. So just take a breath, everyone. This is going to be a long night sorting out what's going on in the trade deadline. You know, I told you we would talk a lot about it today, and we're going to talk about it. We'll talk a little bit right now. But tomorrow is really the day where the dust settles. We're going to find out who made the right moves, whose roster is really looking ready to make a deep push into October and November. Remember, it's not just October anymore. You play the World Series in November. It's really interfered by the NFL season. Some players, we just talked about IKF on the move. The San Diego Padres acquired Tanner Scott from the Miami Marlins. New York Mets got Paul Blackburn. We talked about that one as well. Texas Rangers got Andrew Chafin. You know, those are really the bigger ones that came in today. Over the past few days, there have been some decently important trades. The Dodgers making moves, the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox. You see Baltimore making moves as well. Texas Rangers, your defending World Series champions, making a move. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the representatives for the National League in the World Series. Moves are being made, but we don't know what's going to happen here until the dust settles. And once the dust does settle, we'll be able to evaluate these rosters, look at these rotations, look at these position players, and say, okay, who is poised to make a deep run when we get to playoff baseball? Because we're not that far away from playoff baseball, only a couple of months. It's August now. You know, tomorrow's the last day of July. We're basically in August, which means about 2 months away from playoff baseball. And I know it's going to interfere with some people's viewing habits as you're going to get back into the NFL, but the big trades in the MLB, they seem to have happened over the past few days. There's a couple of big ones happening today. We already talked about those, but just something to keep an eye on. Another thing to keep an eye on, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. What could be big news in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association? Well, let me tell you. Tomorrow is July 31st. scheduled for their first practice of the year, first official practices of the year. Cheerleading, cross country, men's soccer, volleyball, women's golf, women's tennis, and football. All of those sports will have their first practice tomorrow. Training camps are over. It is time for practice. Games begin soon. You got your first soccer, volleyball, women's golf, women's tennis, cross country, August 11th. Football begins August 23rd. That's Friday, obviously. That is our first game. We're almost there. Thursday, you have NFL football on. I mean, we are getting into football season. And it is sad for these other sports like baseball, like the WNBA. You know, the WNBA had all this momentum. They get to the All-Star game. Team WNBA beat Team USA. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese had all these great games, and they don't play for another 17 days. They're going to lose their momentum. They are. And it's sad to see, but football is going to swoop in. It always does. And I've talked about the WNBA and the position that they're in before. You know, maybe it would make sense to try to squeeze in the schedule a little bit, maybe start a little bit earlier. I know you have the draft in a weird spot right after college basketball ends, and then you got to have a little bit of a training camp before the WNBA season begins. But they're in a territory now where they're going to be competing with leagues that are much bigger than them. The NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball, as well as they've been competing with Major League Baseball all summer. Now, it is a competition with Major League Baseball. It is. I can't sit here and tell you that the MLB is going to be the sport of the summer for the next 20 years because the WNBA has momentum. It's just sad to see that they've taken a break at this time. And I know the WNBA breaks every year at some point. And with the Olympics, it was kind of a good spot to do it. But that momentum they had, the excitement they had, are they going to be able to get it back once they come back and once we see, hey, by the way, we'll be a couple of weeks into into preseason football by then. Then a couple of weeks later, the NBA is going to start. Summer League ended. Congratulations to the Miami Heat for winning Summer League champions. Doesn't matter to me. So you have all that to look forward to. And I'm curious to see what happens with the WNBA. Are they going to fall out of favor? I would say probably. It's probably likely. They're not quite there yet. They have the momentum. They are growing, but it's going to take a few years for us to really continue to pay attention to the WNBA when they're competing against the NBA, the NFL preseason, training camp. You know, they can beat training camp. The MLB can beat training camp until an injury happens or until a big signing happens, and then the sports world is going to gravitate towards that, which is what happened over the weekend once Jordan Love signed his contract. So just some things to keep an eye on as you move through the remainder of the summer. We got one more segment here on the Scoreboard on this Tuesday. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. We'll talk a little more sports, and we'll get into this day in sports history. We'll be back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We're keeping an eye out for a few isolated showers or thunderstorms as we go through the rest of our Tuesday evening. Overnight, a partly cloudy sky. We'll dip into the low 70s. Outlying spots and farms may be able to make it down to the 70-degree mark, but get ready. Another big heat wave on the way as we go throughout the rest of the week. Into the mid-90s again tomorrow with an isolated shower or thunderstorm for our Wednesday afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Birkdale Village in Huntersville welcomes back Dave Scott Crow and his Amusination Academy performance on Thursday, August 1st. Dave's concert and Pick Me Up open mic are events for the kids and the entire family. The show begins at 4:30 p.m. on the green. Parents, grandparents, and kids of all ages are welcome on Thursday afternoon at Birkdale Village for Dave Scott Crow's Amusination Academy. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free concert series on Thursday, August 1st. Langtree Lake Norman is open for eats and drinks all afternoon, with Bad Romeo taking the stage at 7 p.m. From AC/DC to Whitesnake, Bad Romeo will bring back your 80s rock memories. Grab your lawn chairs, arrive early to get your favorite spot, and enjoy Langtree before, during, and after the show. We'll see you in Mooresville Thursday night for the Bad Romeo concert at Langtree Lake Norman. Friday night, Birkdale Village hosts Live Under the Oaks in Huntersville. String Theory presents a free concert from 6 to 8. Birkdale restaurants are open for dinner, while Red Rocks will serve beverages on site at the concert. Come on out Friday night for the String Theory concert at Birkdale Village. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday, August 17th. Sparks will fly as the metal-bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for free early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Temperatures are heating up, but the prices are cooling down at Randy Marion Ford Lincoln here in Statesville. How about this? Over $8,000 off F-150s. That's the XLT trim, that's the Lariat trim, that's the Platinum trim, that's the Limited trim. That is the Crew Cab, that is the Super Cab. You name it, Randy Marion Ford. We got it right here in Statesville at a big discount on F-150s. Again, over $8,000 off. Come see us today, I-77, exit 49B.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, final segment on the Scoreboard on this Tuesday. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. One thing we haven't mentioned yet, Coco Gauff, tennis player, flag bearer for the United States, lost in her singles game earlier today. A lot earlier today. She lost to Donna Vekic. Probably not saying that right. I do apologize. I am terrible with names. But Coco Gauff, one of the most popular athletes going into these Olympic Games, is out of the women's single. Now, obviously, she can still medal in doubles, but it is unfortunate for Coco Gauff. We're going to go over some things real quick, but before we do that, obviously we got to check back in on Major League Baseball. We do have a big trade. Eloy Jimenez, starting pitcher for the White Sox. I'm sorry, it's not start. What am I talking about? Slugger for the White Sox. Traded to the Baltimore Orioles. Eloy Jimenez. That's a big trade right there for Baltimore. Bill, I know Bill's probably listening. Congratulations, you got a good player. We got Jazz Chisholm, though. We being the Yankees. The Yankees got Jazz Chisholm a couple of days ago. We talked about that the other day. You're going to continue to see trades happen. I mean, we are only 10 minutes away from the deadline, but I am sure that we're going to have 1, 2, maybe 3 trickle in right at the end. So just keep an eye out if you're interested in baseball. The deadline is coming. Some other news for you. just kind of around the world of sports and in the Olympics as well. France beat Japan in overtime from a game-tying 4-point play at the end of regulation. Victor Wembanyama had 18 points in the game as France beat Japan 94-90. Not much NFL news for you right now. There's, thankfully we haven't had any massive injuries for Carolina. We also had, by the way, a retirement. Rashad Perry, Carolina Panthers, running back Rashad Penny, retired at 28 years old. That is what I'd consider to be an early retirement, but there you go. There is your update. The biggest thing that happened in the NFL was over the weekend with Jordan Love signing a massive contract extension, one that I personally believe he has not earned. Somehow Patrick Mahomes is not the top 5 quarterback in terms of money per year. How is it that when the Chiefs signed Patrick Mahomes to that 10-year, $450, $500 million contract, how is it that turned out to be a bargain? Because at this point it is, and they got him under contract for quite some time. It is a bargain. The NFL, the salary cap is going to continue to go up year after year. Players are going to get more money year after year. League revenue continues to go up year after year. And Patrick Mahomes' contract just stays the same. I find that to be a pretty big win for the Kansas City Chiefs. They got him signed early. They got him signed for term. And now they get to hang it on to him while everybody else in the league, all the other quarterbacks, are signing these massive $50, $55 million extensions. Chiefs got to be pretty happy with what they got. The first preseason game of the NFL season is this Thursday. It's going to be the Bears taking on the Texans. According to Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, none of the starters are going to be playing. No starters will be playing for the Bears, which means if you are interested in checking out number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams on Thursday, you're going to have to wait a little bit. You are. Now, I don't like the decision. I don't. Sure, it's the Hall of Fame game, but we got to remember we have reduced the amount of preseason games in the NFL over the last few years. And in my opinion, if you have a young quarterback, get him out there for every opportunity possible, because the speed of the NFL game is not the same speed as the college game. And we've seen in recent years, offensive production in the first few weeks has been down. It hasn't been as good as it once was. So I would say throw your rookie quarterback out there. You don't have to play him the whole game. Give him a quarter. Give him 1 quarter and then take him out. What, are you afraid he's going to get hurt? Like, injuries happen in the NFL. And he's more likely to get injured if he's underprepared for his week 1 start. I would throw him out there in the Hall of Fame game, along with any other rookies you have. Even if they're 7th-round pick rookies, throw them out there. This is what the preseason is for. It's not to say, okay, we are going to baby all of our players. No, it doesn't work like that. At least in my opinion, it should not work like that. You should get your players out there in the preseason so you can, number 1, evaluate your players, and number 2, they can learn how to play in the NFL. Now, I'm sure it's going to be different. The Texans, they're probably not going to be playing all of their stars as well. But still, I would throw him out there. I would throw my starting quarterback out there, even if he's not a rookie. Year 2, year 3. Play him every preseason game. Don't bench. Don't coddle these guys. Aaron Rodgers can sit. He can sit. Caleb Williams? No, he can't sit. He's got to go out there and learn. So, Thursday, Hall of Fame game, but the Bears will not be playing their starters. We have more breaking news from Major League Baseball. Detroit Tigers starting pitcher Jack Flaherty has been traded to the Dodgers. Yes, the rich get richer. 133 strikeouts so far for Flaherty on the year. He's having a pretty good year. He is having a pretty good year. So the rich get richer, as we've said before. Currently, he's 7-5 with a ERA of 2.95. Played for Baltimore last year after playing for St. Louis for plenty of years. Jack Flaherty is now a Dodger. Dodgers, man, they are going to be dangerous come playoff time. It's not we got to make the World Series or bust. It's we have to win the World Series or bust if you're the, I almost said Brooklyn Dodgers. If you're the LA Dodgers at this point, you have to win. You got the most stacked team of all time. You got to win. With the last couple of minutes of this program, let's go ahead and talk about some things that happened on this day in sports history. Richie Ashburn and Mike Schmidt entered the Baseball Hall of Fame on this day in 1995. Maybe you know who that is. Here's one. George Steinbrenner is forced by the commissioner of baseball to resign as principal partner of the New York Yankees. On this day in 1988, MLB pitcher John Franco saves a record 13th game during the month of July. 13 saves in a month. You know, that's tough because, number one, your team has to be good enough to win 13 games in a month. And number two, they got to be close enough to where you have a save opportunity 13 times in a month. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. On this day, let's see. Bruce Jenner won the gold medal, set the world record with 8,618 points to win the decathlon gold at the Montreal Olympics. That was on this day, 1976. And let's see if we can get one more in here before we get to the end of the program today. You know what? I had one more for you, and now that I'm rereading it, I don't want to read that one. It's not a good thing. It has to do with Ty Cobb testifying, and I don't want to talk about that. So we've reached the end of the program today. The MLB trade deadline is in 55 seconds. Kevin Kiermaier goes to the Dodgers as well. Oh my goodness, the Dodgers, what are you doing? They are all in. It doesn't matter to them how much money they spend. They have everyone. They better be the best team in baseball by the end of the year. I mean, they got everyone. What a team this Dodgers team has right now. When you look at the standings, Major League Baseball, the Dodgers are the fourth best team, 2.5 games back. They'll probably be 5 games up of the field by the end of the year. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the Scoreboard today. We will wrap up the MLB trade deadline tomorrow. Those last-minute deals are coming in. Keep an eye on them. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a good night, everyone.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7. WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.